Good morning. Today we will discuss the histology of cornea and retina. Let's start with the introduction of this eye or the eyeball. As we know, eyes are these highly developed organ for vision, and these are protected within the orbit of the skull, which also contain this adipose tissue to provide the cushioning. Now the eyeball, it consists of these three concentric tunic, three concentric layer. Outermost layer is this sclera. The sclera is this tough layer which provides the contour to the eyeball. This rounded contour is provided because of this sclera, and this is the sclera which gives attachment to the muscle, extraocular muscles. And anteriorly, this anterior 1/6 of the portion of the sclera, this is transparent, and this transparent portion is known as cornea. This is known as cornea. So 1/6 portion is transparent anteriorly, and the rest portion is fibrous and opaque. This is sclera. Anteriorly, this is cornea, and their junctional portion is known as the limbus. Now, just interior to this is this vascular tunic, and this is known as choroid. Choroid. Plenty of vascularity is here, and anterior. This vascular layer, it consists of this ciliary body and this iris, which finally has this aperture known as pupil. Just anterior to this is this neurosensitive portion known as retina. This is retina. This sensory layer, this retina, it communicates posteriorly with this optic nerve. The fibers, this nerve fiber, they converge at this spot known as this optic disc, where it is continuous with the optic nerve, and this communicates this optic nerve up to this cerebral hemisphere. Now this retinal portion, or this their neural structure as well as the visual function, that extend only up to this serrated region anteriorly. This is known as the ora serrata, and this serrated transitional zone, it lies between this anterior margin of the retina and the ciliary body. So this is the serrated zone where the neurosensitive or the photoreceptive portion ends. So this is not on the whole portion, this is only lying posterior. Now there is an independent structure known as lens, and lens, this is a perfectly transparent and biconvex structure that is held in its position by these zonular fiber, and these zonular fiber, they are the circular system of fibers that attach these lens to the ciliary body, and just posterior to the lens is the vitreous body, or this vitreous chamber, and anterior surface of the lens, this is covered by this opaque pigmented extension of this middle layer, iris, and it surrounds this central opening known as pupil, this pupillary opening, and located anterior to this portion of the eye, the iris and the lens, they are bathing in this clear aqueous humor. And with respect to the lens and their attachment to this iris, this is the chamber known as anterior chamber, and this is the posterior chamber. And this large posterior cavity, this is known as the vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber. Now first thing is about this cornea. The cornea, it is this thick, transparent and avascular portion, and as evident, it is composed of these 5 layers histologically. Anteriormost is this external stratified squamous epithelium. Then there is the basement membrane, which is a thickened basement membrane of this, known as the Bowman's membrane, or also known as anterior limiting membrane. Then there is this thick stroma, very thick stroma, connective tissue portion. And posterior to that is this posterior limiting membrane, also known as basement membrane. The basement membrane is the basement membrane of this innermost lining. This innermost lining, which is the endothelial layer, made up of flattened epithelium, squamous epithelium. So this is the inner simple squamous endothelial layer. So the layer are external stratified squamous epithelium, then this anterior limiting membrane or Bowman's membrane, then this substantia propria or stromal layer, then posterior limiting membrane or Descemet membrane, and this inner simple squamous endothelial layer. Now we will discuss these one by one. This is the external stratified layer. Now this external stratified layer, its thickness is, it is 5 to 6 layer thick, and it contributes to almost 10% of the total corneal thickness, and it is made up of these cells lying on this basement membrane, which is the thick portion known as the Bowman's membrane or the anterior limiting membrane, which is 8 to 10 micron, and these basal cells, they are the progenitor cells. They give rise to these cells which are shed apically. Now the apical cells, they are flattened cells with their microvilli. They are bathing in this tear film, because that is in relation to this conjunctival. Now these basal cells, they are arising from the portion of the limbus. Now these basal cells, they are these highly proliferative cells, and they are the cells which are important for the renewal and the repair of the corneal surface, and they arise from this limbus, corneoscleral limbus. Next is this thick layer, which is known as substantia propria or stromal layer. Now, it contributes to 90% of the thickness of this cornea, 90%. So this is the stromal layer or substantia propria. Now this is composed of around 60 layers of these parallel running collagen bundles, as evident, parallel running collagen bundle, and because of that they infer this transparency. And this uniform orthogonal array of the collagen fibrils, because of these are the transparent layer. and between the collagen lamellae we can locate these flattened portion flattened portion and these are the keratocytes. They are the fibroblast like cells with their cytoplasmic extension between these collagen lamellae. So these are the fibroblastic cells which provide or they provide like fibroblastic activity. So they maintain this stromal layer connective tissue, and then internal to that is this thick basement membrane of the endothelial layer, and this is known as the posterior limiting membrane or basement membrane. And posterior to that is this endothelial layer, flattened squamous epithelium. So this is the flattened layer. Now this endothelial layer, it maintains this basement membrane and includes the metabolically active cells of the cornea, which are the most metabolically active, and comprises this sodium potassium ATPase form in their basolateral membrane, and they are responsible for regulating the proper hydration of this corneal stroma. So this is the layer of the cornea. So we will again see this in the diagrammatic view, starting with this anthermose stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Then this is the anterior limiting membrane or Bowman's membrane. Posterior to that, this is the substantia propria, the thick stromal layer. Here the collagen fiber, parallel running fiber are evident, and between them we can always see this keratocytes, the fibroblastic cells. Then this is the posterior limiting membrane, and posterior to that is this endothelial layer. Now some applied aspect related to cornea. As we know, cornea is avascular. So cornea can be transplanted, cornea can be gifted, can be donated, and if the recipient has the blindness due to corneal lesion, due to corneal opacity and due to corneal lesion, because of this grafted cornea, that blindness can be reverted. So this is the basis of corneal transplant. Second is known as the LASIK surgery, which is commonly known as the laser surgery. So LASIK is the full form. LASIK is the abbreviation of laser assisted in situ keratomalacia. In this case, refractive correctness is done, and in this case this stratified epithelium it is cut using the laser, and this inner substantia propria that is cut again modulated to correct the refractive error like astigmatism or myopia. So this is the basis of. So next we will discuss the histology of this retina, then we will summarize. Now the retina in case of human, they contain this photoreceptor cells, the rods and cones in this outer vision. So they perceive the light, they perceive the vision, and from this outer portion the impulse goes inward towards this nerve fiber layer, which finally form the optic nerve. So they are the axonal fiber, they combine together to form the optic nerve. So the light, it goes from inside to outwards. This is the direction of light, and the impulse, it moves from outside inwards, and these axonal fiber finally they converge on this spot, which is known as optic disc or known as the blind spot. They combine to form this optic nerve, and this portion, they don't have any photoreceptor cells, no rods and cones here. So this spot is known as the blind spot. Now this also denotes how the evolution of vision occurred. It is not always in case of lower animal. In case of cephalopods like the octopus or the mollusk, in them they don't have this inverted retina. In that case, these photoreceptor cells, they are placed in this anterior portion, and from there these nerve fiber, they are on the outer portion. So there is no blind spot in case of this octopus or the mollusk. Or now something about this development of retina. As we know, these portion they develop from this optic cup. This optic vesicle, this forms this optic cup from this neuroectodermal portion, and this optic cup, it deepens further, and it is now evident as this outer and inner layer. There are two layers, outer and inner layer, and finally they form these two distinct layers. This outer layer, this contributes to this outer pigmented layer, which is a simple cuboidal epithelium attached to the choroid and Bruch's membrane, and this inner layer, it forms this neural layer, which is thick and stratified with various neurons and photoreceptor rods and cones. We will discuss these one by one. So this pigmented epithelium, this outer layer, this pigmented epithelium, this has these specialized function, cuboidal epithelium. This has this specialized function, like they contain this abundant smooth endoplasmic reticulum specialized for isomerization of vitamin A. So they cause the retinal isomerization. Also they absorb this scattered light, so they assist this middle layer, this portion of the choroid, and they provide this absorption of the scattered light, and also it forms this blood retina barrier. The tight junction between them, they contribute to the blood retina barrier. Now retinal regeneration, they also contribute. They isomerize all the transretinal release from the photoreceptor and produce them as 11 cis retinal. Also they phagocytose these residual portion which are shed off this, and they also remove the free radical from them. Now about this neural part of the retina, which is arising from this inner layer of the optic. Now this neural retina, it possesses these three layer of the neuronal cell body, and they are interconnected neuron. Can be understood by this outer layer with respect to the pigment cell epithelium. This consists of this photoreceptor cells. Then there's this intermediate layer for neuromodulation, intermediate interneurons, and then this is the outer layer which consists of this neuronal cell body having this large neuronal cell body, whose processes finally form this optic nerve. So there are three set of neuronal cell body. Initially the photoreceptor cells, intermediate cell layer is the interneuronal cell for neuromodulation, and outer to that is the cell whose processes finally give rise to the optic nerve, converge to form the optic nerve. Now that's this outer nuclear layer. Obviously it consists of the neuronal cell body and the nuclei of the photoreceptor cells. So outer nuclear layer, it consists of the cell body of and nuclei of rods and cones. Then this inner nuclear layer, it consists of this neuronal cell body and nuclei of these bipolar cells, amacrine cells and horizontal cells. And this ganglion cell layer, they have this large neuronal cell body with longer axon, and these axonal fiber, they finally make this superficial nerve fiber layer which converges to form the optic nerve. And this ganglionic cell layer, it contains this cell body of the ganglion cells which are thicker near the center of the retina, and these tappers gets thin out at the periphery. So this is not homogeneous at the center, it is thicker at the periphery. Now little bit about these photoreceptor cells, rods and cones. These are rods, rod shaped terminal portion, and these are cones, spine shaped terminal portion or the outer segment. Now these photoreceptor cells, they are long and cylinder bipolar cells, and rods, they are more in number and they are found around the periphery boundary of the retina, whereas cones, they are there in the center of the retina. Now the portion, they are divided into this outer segment and inner segment. Outer segment having this photoreceptor portion, and this inner segment having the neuronal these cell body having the nuclei and their mitochondria, Golgi body, this portion. This is the inner segment. So the rods, they have this inner segment which has these prominent Golgi apparatus as well as mitochondria. And this outer segment, this is the outer segment which is facing outer portion or facing outwards. This outer segment, this has this regular cylindrical shape, stalked up and flattened membranous disc, like the coins being piled up one upon the other. They are stalked, and this is the outer segment. And these stalk of this flattened membranous disc, these incorporate this photoreceptive pigment known as rhodopsin, which is the rhodopsin. And these membranous discs, they are continuously shed, especially at the end of them, they are continuously shed from the end. And each rod, they are phagocytosed, these portion, they are phagocytosed by these pigment epithelial cells. As we have already discussed the phagocytosis function of these pigment epithelial cells. So these are the portion which are being shed continuously and they are phagocytosed by the pigment epithelial cells. Now the outer segment of the cones, this is conical, pine shaped. So the outer segment of the cone, this is conical structure, and this is about 2/3 of the length of the rod. This is short and contains the similar number or even more flattened membranous disc. And but unlike these other neural synapse, between these three layers of cell bodies, the nuclei, they are two fibrous layer, two fibrous layer, two fibrous layer. One is known as this outer plexiform layer, which includes the processes or the axons of the photoreceptor cells and dendrites of these neurons which lie in the inner nuclear layer, like the bipolar neurons mainly, and amacrine and horizontal cells. So this is the outer plexiform layer with the axon of the photoreceptor cells and the dendrite of the neurons lying in the inner nuclear layer. And then this is this inner plexiform layer. Inner plexiform layer. Inner plexiform layer, it consists of the axons and dendrite connecting the neurons of inner nuclear layer with the ganglion cells. So it contains the axons from this inner nuclear layer and these dendritic portion from this ganglion cell. Or rather we can say it the central and peripheral processes. So these are the again plexiform layer, inner plexiform layer, because it is lying interior to that. So this is the outer plexiform layer lying on the outer portion, and this is the inner plexiform layer. Now, all the neurons of the retina, they are supported by a neuroglia cells similar to the neuroglia cells of the CNS, and these neuroglia cells here are known as the Muller cells. And the nuclei of the Muller cells, they also lie in this inner nuclear layer, and they form two limiting membrane. One is known as this outer limiting membrane. Outer limiting membrane, here they form this cell to cell adhesion or cell to cell linkage with the cells, photoreceptor cells, the rods and cones. Because of that, this outer limiting membrane is formed, and their basement membrane, the basement membrane of the Muller cells, they lie near this layer, vitreous layer or the vitreous body on this innermost aspect. So this forms this inner limiting membrane. So there are two membrane, one is this outer limiting membrane and one is this inner limiting. So this is the rationale of this. Finally, this thin layer of the retina. So we start with this outermost layer, which is the non-neural pigment cell layer in relation to the choroid and its Bruch's membrane. Then interior to that is this outer photoreceptor segment of this photoreceptor cells, the rod and cone. So this is known as the layer of the rods and cones. Then this is the zone where there is this cell to cell adhesion or cell to cell linkage of this Muller cells with this photoreceptor cells. So that forms this outer limiting membrane by these junctional complexes. Then interior to that is this nuclear layer, outer nuclear layer, and this comprises of the cell body and the nuclei of the rods and cones. Then this is the portion of the synapse of these processes. So axonal processes with the dendrite of this inner nuclear layer, and this form this outer plexiform layer. Outer plexiform layer, wing place externally. So this is the outer plexiform layer. Then this is the layer of the cell body and their nuclei of this bipolar cells, the amacrine cell and the horizontal cells, as well as the nuclei of the Muller cells. So they comprise or they form this inner nuclear layer. inner nuclear layer. And their axonal processes finally they form synapse with the dendrites of these ganglion cells, and they are lying internally, so they form this inner plexiform layer. And here to that is the cell body and the nuclei of this large neuronal cell body known as the ganglion cell layer. Then their axonal fiber, this axonal fiber at the surface, they pass towards this blind spot towards to form this optic nerve. So this is the layer of the nerve fiber layer, and interior to that this is the inner limiting membrane, the basement membrane of the Muller cells with relation to the vitreous body. So this is the inner limiting membrane. So this is the 10 layers of the retina. Now this is in the histological section. We start with this outermost layer, which is the non-neural layer or layer of the pigmented epithelium with relation to the choroids and Schwartzmann gland. This is the layer of the pigment cells. Anterior to that is the layer of the rods and cones, this outer photoreceptor portion. Anterior to that is the this outer limiting membrane formed by the junctional complexes between the Muller cells and the photoreceptor cells. Outer limiting membrane. Then outer nuclear layer formed by this cell body and the nuclei of the rods and cones. Then is this outer plexiform layer. Outer plexiform layer formed by this synapse between this axonal portion of this rods and cone and dendrite of this inner nuclear layer. This bipolar cells mainly, also of the horizontal cells and amacrine cells. Their cell body, they lie in this inner nuclear layer and their dendritic process. They form this synapse here with the axons of the rods and cones. So they form this outer plexiform layer. Inner to that is this inner nuclear layer, and these comprise the cell body and the nuclei of the bipolar cells, amacrine cells, horizontal cells, and even the nuclei of the Muller cells, the neuroglial cells of the retina. This is the inner nuclear layer. Now, this axonal process of this inner nuclear layer, they synapse with the dendritic process of this large neuronal cell body. So this form this inner plexiform layer. Inner plexiform layer. When is the layer of this large neuronal cell body with the large nuclei. This is the ganglion cell layer. Ganglion cell layer. Then their axonal fiber. Their axonal fiber which converge and form the optic nerve. So this is the layer of the nerve fiber. And interior to that is the basement membrane on which the cell body of the Muller cell lies. So this is the innermost layer which is lying against the vitreous humor or vitreous body. This is the inner limiting membrane. Inner limiting membrane or inner limiting layer. This is the basement membrane of the Muller cells, the neuroglia cells. So these are the 10 layers of the retina. Something about the applied aspect. as we have discussed how this two distinct layers, this pigment epithelium, which is the outer layer, and this neural layer, they developed from this optic cup. So this portion, if they are detached, if the detachment is in between this outer layer, pigment cell epithelium, and this neural layer, so this is the line of the retinal detachment that leads to the blindness. So that can be reversed through the laser surgery though, if that is reattached to that portion. So this is the rationale of this retinal detachment. Because of the trauma or because of many like blood pressure or many other reason are there, but that is the reason, that is the portion where there occurs the retinal detachment between this layer, which is the outermost layer, pigment cell epithelium, and this inner neural layer. So that's all about this histology of the cornea and histology of the retina.